What's up, guys, and welcome back. I'm gonna jump right into it and get right back to this dash. I just made my template, as you can see. I got on a piece of cardboard here, and it fits pretty good for the bottom here. So I'm just gonna replicate it in a piece of aluminum and get it welded on the back. The dash itself has come out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I didn't initially want this gap right here, so I might try and like hammer like the bottom up. But I don't want to do that until I get the bottom welded on, because I think if I hammer it up, it's going to want to tweak my holes and whatnot. So I'll try and get this piece welded on first, and then we'll kind of see where it sits. And somewhere along the line, you probably can't tell on video, but this square, it's tilted to the right just a smidge. I can see it, but it's not like life or death situation. It should be fine. As far as this whole thing, like mess, it just kind of has to be this way. Try and give like a little backstory here. So if I'm sitting right here, normally you could put your radio right up here and way up there, which is fine. I want to be able to drive this and see the radio and be able to actually physically touch it. If it's farther in, it would look nicer, but also it's not practical. I mean, I don't want to have to lean forward to reach the radio. I want to be able to just sit back, drive, and still see it. And I have it aimed towards me, because basically I'll be the one driving this the most, so there's no reason to have it pointed at the passenger, even though it looks nicer, but kind of has like a space look to it. This doesn't really clash well together, but we're just gonna live with it. All right, let me get this cut and get this welded on, and then see if I can do something with the top of this. All right, so the fit's not too bad. Just use a couple of clamps. And I'm gonna try and get some good tacks on this while it's in the car, so it doesn't misshape and warp a little bit, which it probably will anyways, but the more I can get it welded in the car, the better. Because I know it's gonna shift, because a lot of heat goes into this. But yeah, let's get this tacked up. It's actually not a bad tack. It's so hard to get comfortable with this thing. Any little movement, keep dabbing my tungsten in here. You can see the black spot there. But once we grind it all down, or actually I'm gonna weld the backside, and I'll grind down the front face, so it doesn't even matter how this looks, as long as I get it good from the backside. I'm actually surprised I was able to get a full welder on this whole box almost before I pull it out. Because it's very tight to do welding in a mini. You got a little sloppy on the end there. But like I said earlier, I'm gonna pull this off now that it's cool. I'm gonna weld the whole inside and around the bend here. This doesn't have to be pretty because it's all getting grind down smooth like I did on the top here. As long as I got it welded in the back, it should hold together just fine. So I'm not going for the best looking welds here, and aluminum is still not my cup of tea, but we're getting it done. Alright, I'm gonna do my best to get these inside welds done as clean as possible. And I never really shared this, but I do have a flex head on my my TIG torch, and it works awesome for getting in these spots. Even though this works awesome, I still need a lot more practice, but see if I can do it. Alrighty, so I basically got this whole thing welded up now from the bottom and everything. I just gotta go back and fix this little spot. I went a little too hot with the welder right there. But I got the whole inside welded. It actually looks pretty good. It's not too bad. I even got in that little corner. Kind of hard to get the torch in there. Top and bottom. So I'll get this fitted back up and I'll get the radio back in and I'll kind of see where I'm going to sit at. But I do need to pop this up a little bit to close that gap like I was saying. But we're in good shape. It's not looking too bad. Alright, I went ahead and I kind of finished this whole thing off. Sanded the top, the sides a little bit, and this back part here. Alright, let's get this radio in and see what it looks like. And so far I only have 2 screws holding this radio in. It is very tight. I think I can just get away with just the 2, to be honest with you. A little bit of wiggle room here. There we go. That feels good. That's just a piece of tape holding on the protective safety film on the front screen so I don't scratch it. But not bad. A little bit of features with this radio. It was from Amazon and it's pretty cheap. It's got Apple CarPlay. It requires a 1080p video format. That's kind of cool. 7-inch display. It's got mirror imaging, which means like if I'm watching like a video on my phone, I can mirror image it to the display, which could be dangerous while driving. Not going to say it's the main reason I got it, but I do like that feature. It has a little bit more to offer than your standard Apple CarPlay radio. But it basically does all the same. Has a USB in the front. Has an SD card slot, so I have all my music on there. I'm pretty sure it plays movies too on here. So whatever, if I happen to put a movie on the SD card slot, I guess I could play it on here. I did power it up. It does work. I just didn't connect to the speakers yet, but it did went through all the functions and it seems pretty good. Not bad for 70 bucks. I'll give it a shot. All right, so I do have 2 captive nuts right here, which that bolts that side of the dash in. Just gotta give it a little love tap, that's all. All right, I'll leave those a little loose right now while I get the other side in. So it actually took quite a bit to get these holes to line up. When I first made the first two sides, I had them perfectly lined up, and then after I welded the tops on, the bottoms on, they did shift a little bit. So I had to bend the piece a little bit to get them to refit. And then I even had to tack in the whole hole completely covered and re-drill it, just so I wouldn't have to make a giant hole that I don't want. Nonetheless, you can see they all fit, so that's cool. I'm happy with that. Just snug these up. Finish off the other side right here. Get the dash back in temporarily. Yeah, I don't mind the wires. We'll get back to that eventually. I do need to get all the electrical components in before I start more wiring. I should have just did that in the first place. I don't even know why I jumped the gun and started the wiring, but I'm bouncing around between 4 different projects right now. I'm hoping to just knock this one off completely. So the dash, I think, is 80% there, 90% there. I think that's good enough for now. I could fiddle around with it later on, but I'll leave it right there for now. I might want to do something on top of here. Just use your imagination. We'll figure something out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This is going to complete the dash install. I'll leave it here.